Good evening, I'm John Carter and welcome to Poland Daily. Today, Gazeta Wyborcza Daily published an investigative story they had earlier claimed would shake up the Polish political scene. The piece was supposed to personally discredit the leader of the Law and Justice Party, Jarosław Kaczyński. However, it turned out that the text concerning the activity of Srebrna, a company on the Warsaw real estate market, does not contain any sensational information.
The materials published in Gazeta Wyborcza Daily gives fragments of a conversation between the leader of the Law and Justice Party, Jarosław Kaczyński, and an Austrian businessman. The conversation concerns a project to build two multifunctional office, hotel, trade, and apartment tower blocks on land owned by the Srebrna company, which is run by close associates of Kaczyński. In a conversation, the leader of the Law and Justice Party acknowledges that the Austrian businessman incurred costs in developing the project, but is also aware that there was no formal legal agreement for the project to start. The conversation shows that Kaczyński and his relative involved in the project suggest to the businessman that he would have a good chance of receiving a payment if he goes to the court, and that this would make it easier for the company which owned the land to pay, because without legal contracts the payment was uncertain.
Agents from the Gdansk branch of the Central Anti-Corruption Bureau arrested 4 board members of the oil and gas giant Lotus today. These included longtime chairman Paweł O. The detainees are accused of behaviour working to the detriment of the company.
Agents from the
Gdańsk branch of the Central Anti-Corruption Bureau arrested 4 people which are accused of acting to the detriment of the Lotus oil and gas giant. Among the detainees is the former chairman of the company, their agent, director of one of their offices, and their entrepreneur. During the investigation, our officials established that Lotus representatives signed a fake agreement concerning consulting services. At the moment, our officials are examining the apartments and offices of the detainees. The 4 people were heard the charges in the regional prosecutor's office.
The treatment of Polish consul in Norway, Sławomir Kowalski, by Norwegian police has had Poles up in arms. 20,000 people have signed a petition in support of the consul, who was prevented by police from assisting a Polish family in its dealings with Barnevernet, the public Norwegian child welfare service. The institution is infamous abroad for taking children from foreigners and giving them up for adoption, even on the most baseless of grounds.
Norway decided to expel the Polish consul from the country after the incident, having claimed that he had been aggressive during his interaction with the police. The video recorded by the Polish consul shows a very different story.
We demand respecting the rights under the Article 36 of the Vienna Convention on Consular Relations. The rights have been denied to us. Polish citizens wanted us to assist in their meeting, and we wanted to do it. We have the right to do it under the convention. Norway is a party to the convention. So I understand that you're coming here to enforce the law. And how about the Article 36 of the Vienna Convention?
I don't know that.
Madam, it's not good.
You're not allowed to be in this building. That's the final. Yeah. You're not allowed. You can go outside.
We have the right to make you leave this building.
Okay, could you please call your boss?
Yeah, we have. We just talked to him. So
I would like to talk to him.
No,
you have to leave Hamar Centrum. You're not allowed to be in Hamar Centrum. You have to leave the building, but you have to leave the...
So, sir, but then we need to observe this meeting and we need to assist the Polish citizens.
You don't have the right to do that.
No, actually, state it again, please, loudly.
You're not allowed to do that today. You can leave the building if you want to do it. You have to do it by phone.
Sir, are you claiming that I'm not allowed the rights under the convention,
No.
Vienna Convention on Consular Relations, Article 36? Yes.
By our police law, we're allowed to make you leave the building.
Police law, and how about international convention?
We are. Yes, we are.
We will take you out.
According to the Norwegian lawyer Marius Reikeros, the police on the scene clearly violated the Vienna Convention on Diplomatic Relations.
You asked me about what laws the police, when we have seen this video, and you refer to that video, and you asked me about what laws the police in Norway has broken with that respect, and I would try to answer quite simply that they have obviously violated the so-called Vienna Convention on Consular Relations from 1963. That convention was entered into force in Norway almost 40 years ago, on 14th of March 1980. And a diplomat or a consular He is entitled, especially according to Article 36 of the Convention, which is referred to by the diplomat himself, to have an undisputed communication and contact with the national of the Polish state. Not only disrespect the law, but actually is violating the law. And if we refer to that Vienna Convention on Consular Relations, Article number 43 in that convention, it says that a consular has the immunity from jurisdiction. It states that a consular should not be amenable to the jurisdiction of the judicial or administrative authorities of the receiving state, I mean, in this case, Norway.
The Polish Ministry of Foreign Affairs is now contemplating whether to expel the Norwegian consul in Poland if the Norwegian government doesn't reconsider their decision to expel the Polish consul.
Political parties across Europe are starting to prepare for the European elections in May. Today, the National Rally, formerly known as Front National, kicked off their campaign in Paris. Party leader Marine Le Pen has decided to appeal to younger voters by allowing 23-year-old rising star Jordan Bardella to lead the campaign. The party is counting on winning the European election in France and hopes that the increasing problems with makeshift migrant camps appearing in large cities will aid their campaign.
The 23-year-old Jordan Bardella has been rising quickly through the ranks. He says that Italian Minister of Interior Matteo Salvini has shown the way forward to the national rally. Matteo Salvini has shown what he can do, so it's normal that he has a major role on the European stage. His party has 30 to 32%. I remember him being elected with 17 or 18% of the vote in Italy. With 32% today, it clearly means that when our ideas come to power, when they are put into practice, well, then they are approved by the people. So that's great. We're really happy to work with Matteo Salvini. He continued by saying that with people such as Matteo Salvini in power, it will be possible to reform the European Union. We are ready today to go along with our allies to the European Commission to negotiate a return to national sovereignty and to put an end to the European Commission, because if tomorrow we are in power and that we need to rewrite treaties with the Freedom Party of Austria or with Salvini in Italy, I think it's a game changer, and at that point we would get rid of the European Commission. We will give the advantage to the European Council to transform Brussels' European Union into a great Europe, a great alliance of nations. The party is hoping that the increasing problem of makeshift migrant camps will aid it in the election campaign. Today, the French police cleared out around 300 migrants from an illegal makeshift camp in northern Paris. For the past few weeks, we have been regularly sending people to shelters all over the Paris region. These people are then given a place to stay, and today 299 people were willing to be dealt with. More than 1 million migrants have arrived in Europe since 2015. Many of them have set up camps in Paris or Calais, as many of them try to continue their journey to Great Britain.
Thank you very much for joining us here this evening at Poland Daily. I'm John Carter. Stay tuned after the break for Poland Daily Weather, followed by Business. And join us after that for Poland Daily Culture, Travel and the History.